What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again for another video. Today I'm going to be previewing the Toronto Maple Leafs versus the Buffalo Sabres for Friday, November 29th. Now, if you're watching this preview and you haven't checked what time the game is on, it is a 4 p.m. start. Usually they do a couple of these games every year where there's an early start. This one is in Buffalo, so 4 p.m. Eastern. This isn't one of those games at 7 p.m. We got an earlier one today. So I believe the Leafs come to this one 12, 10, and 4. The graphic that might be on the screen could be incorrect. I record this before the game, of course, the day before. Usually Buffalo's graphics is 11, 10, and 3. I'm not sure if that's accurate. They just had a loss to, I can't remember, I think it was Boston, I don't know, but they lost in overtime, and they've been on a bit of a rough stretch. But looking at the stats, Freddie Andersen is the probable starter, but I'm not sure if Hutchinson might get the first night because they're playing home and home. Saturday is in Toronto, so we might see Hutchinson start this game. So if Hutchinson starts again, that's a mess up on my part, because they're projecting Freddie Andersen to start. He's 12-5 and 3 with a shutout. In the last game, the Leafs won 6-0 against Detroit. He had a big shutout, which was good. Should have had one against Arizona as well, but the guys couldn't finish it off for him. He has a 2.54 goals against average and a .919 save percentage, so he's starting to get real good. Carter Hutton is listed as the probable starter for Buffalo. He's 6-5 and 2 with 2 shutouts and a 2.91 goals against and a .903 save percentage. Now, in terms of points, Auston Matthews leads the way for Toronto with 30. Jack Eichel leads for Buffalo with 31. He's had a 4-goal game this year and they lost. I couldn't believe that. Morgan Rielly has 16 assists, so Marner's no longer leading in assists for the Leafs, but when he comes back, I'm sure he will. He's going to be back in 2 weeks. Eichel has 17. So Eichel's leading in all the categories that are listed here, because in terms of goals, he has 14. Matthews has 16. And then for wins, Freddie Andersen 12, Hutton at 6. Now let's look at the goals per game and some of the other statistics. Toronto leads the way at 3.20 goals per game. Buffalo's at 2.83. So the Leafs have a bit of an edge there. Goals against per game, the Leafs have actually a disadvantage there, because Buffalo allows almost around the same. Of course, these percentages and numbers are a little bit, done by percentage and right to the point. So Leafs are at 3.32, Buffalo's at 3. So advantage Buffalo there. Power play percentage, Buffalo also leads in this category, but just barely. They're at 19.23%. The Leafs are at 18.42%. The penalty kill percentage is pretty even as well, almost dead on. The Leafs are at 73.81, Buffalo's at 73.68. So the penalty kill and the goals against per game is kind of the same. Power play advantage Buffalo, goals per game advantage Leafs. So this one, statistics wise, is kind of an even matchup, but both teams have struggled at points this year. Both teams have looked good at points this year, so this one should be a really good game. Both teams are out there to try to get a victory. This division and the whole NHL this year has had a bunch of teams that have really brought up some of their young guys and brought in a lot of new faces, and it's turned this league to have a bit more parity. Like, there's a lot more teams that are much better this year, and teams like Toronto and Buffalo, while they have gotten better, other teams around them are also getting better. So it's a struggle. You can start off hot, but you never know. A losing streak can just completely ruin your season. For Toronto and Buffalo right now, they need to start collecting some wins here, because teams are starting to pull away. And if you look at a team like Boston, they're just running away with the division right now. So I'm not really sure how many teams, unless Boston goes on a wicked losing streak, which I don't think they will. Boston looks like if they can have a couple more solid 5-game winning streaks to keep going on, like if they win 5 and they lose a couple, and then they win 5, lose a couple, like they're just going to run away with the division. But we all know that it's the NHL. There's a lot of games left. There's still a trade deadline coming, but these two teams are in roughly the same spot right now. Really solid team, lots of guys that can fill the stat sheet. Lots of, on Buffalo's side, they have some pretty good two-way players. Toronto has a couple two-way players. Their goaltending situation, Freddie right now is playing a bit better than Hutton, but both teams are in the same boat. They need to start winning some games. They need to start stringing some good games together. None of these, crappy 3-2 barely hanging on victories, although they do count. The Leafs are going to try to build off that 6-0 win against Detroit, and Buffalo comes into this one not exactly playing their best hockey, so it should be a really, really good game. And again, the home and homes are always awesome because you get to see the teams back-to-back battle it out, and usually some bad blood starts from the first game and you know, carries into the second one. So this one's in Buffalo again, 4 p.m. Eastern start, Friday, November 29th. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this this preview. Make sure to comment down below your predictions for the game, who's going to score the first goal. You guys can predict whatever you want down there. I really appreciate you guys checking these out. And yeah, like I said, should be a really good game. Enjoy it, Buffalo fans, Leaf fans. I do like watching some of these early games every once in a while, especially since it's going to be a bit hectic, you know, doing the Black Friday shopping type of stuff and then coming home and, you know, you watch the game and stuff like that. So it's going to be pretty busy. So again, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Join the squad to get to 7,000 subscribers, and I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.